A shocking leak of CCTV footage has taken over the internet, allegedly showing Song Hye Kyo being maltreated during her marriage to Song Joong. For years, many fans believed their union was a fairy tale, but this new revelation suggests there may have been hidden storms behind those closed doors. And now, the footage has reignited conversations about their past, their divorce, and the truth that may have been buried all along. Imagine the shockwaves this caused when the footage first started circulating online. Fans who once celebrated their wedding as a beautiful dream are now watching clips that allegedly reveal pain and suffering. The internet has become a battlefield of emotions, some defending Song Joong-ki, others rallying around Hye Kyo, and many more in disbelief. It raises one of the biggest questions of all. What really happened in that marriage that the world didn't see? Now let's put ourselves in the shoes of fans for a moment. Think about how we invest emotionally in celebrity couples. We watch their dramas, admire their chemistry, and when they get together in real life, it feels like a victory for love itself. That's exactly how it was with Song Joong-ki and Song Hye Kyo. Their marriage was celebrated across Asia, but the divorce came as a heartbreaking twist. And now, this alleged CCTV footage paints their story in a completely different light. Lovely viewers, how would you feel if the couple you thought was perfect turned out to be hiding such painful secrets? The leaked footage, according to reports, shows troubling interactions that suggest Hye Kyo may not have been treated with the love and respect she deserved. We cannot verify the authenticity of every frame, but the very existence of these allegations has thrown the entertainment industry into chaos. Netizens are torn between shock and outrage. Some are demanding that Joong-ki speak up and clear the air, while others believe the footage speaks for itself and that Hye Kyo's silence during their divorce years ago might have been her way of protecting herself. Lovely viewers, let's pause here and interact. If you were in Hye Kyo's place, would you have kept quiet during the divorce to protect your dignity, or would you have spoken out immediately about the alleged maltreatment? Many fans argue that silence back then may have been her shield, while others think it allowed speculation and victim-blaming to grow. What do you think? As for Song Joong-ki, his image is now facing a massive test. Known to many as a gentleman, a charismatic actor, and someone admired worldwide, these new allegations are clashing with the public persona he has maintained for years. The contrast between his reputation and the leaked footage is what makes this scandal so explosive. Viewers, here's a question for you. Do you think it's fair to let a few clips erase years of a carefully built reputation, or should we trust what we see with our own eyes, no matter how shocking it is? Meanwhile, Hye Kyo has remained quiet, just as she has in many of the storms that surrounded her in the past. That silence has fans reading between the lines. Some say her quietness is confirmation, a subtle nod that the footage might be true. Others insist she owes no one an explanation, that her healing and dignity are more important than reliving past trauma for the public. And this, dear viewers, is where your perspective matters. Should public figures be forced to revisit their pain just to satisfy fans' need for answers? The online reaction has been fierce. Hashtags supporting Hye Kyo are trending, with fans flooding social media with words of encouragement and empathy. Messages like "We stand with Song Hye Kyo" and "She deserved better" are everywhere. On the other hand, some die-hard supporters of Joong-ki are questioning the timing of the leak, asking why this footage has surfaced now, years after their divorce. Could it be an attempt to tarnish his reputation as he moves forward in his personal and professional life? Or is this the long-hidden truth finally finding its way to the light? Lovely viewers, what's your take? Conspiracy, coincidence, or overdue justice? Let's also think about the bigger picture. If this footage is indeed authentic, then it's not just about one couple anymore. It becomes a conversation about how abuse and maltreatment can hide behind the perfect smiles and glitter of celebrity lives. It's a reminder that we, as fans, only see what is shown to us, the red carpets, the interviews, the dramas, but behind the curtain, reality can be very different. This isn't just about them. It's about raising awareness that even the most glamorous relationships can carry shadows. Lovely viewers, imagine the emotional toll this might have taken on Hye Kyo if the allegations are true. To smile in public while carrying pain in private is a burden that no one should have to endure. And imagine the confusion and conflict for Joong if he's now facing accusations that could destroy his career. Whether guilty or not, the damage is already immense. Both stars are caught in a storm they can't escape, and the world is watching with bated breath. So what happens next? If Joong addresses the footage, his response could either calm the storm or inflame it further. If Hye Kyo chooses to break her silence, her words could redefine everything we thought we knew about their marriage. But if both remain silent, the speculation will only grow, and the footage will continue to dominate the narrative. Lovely viewers, what would you want to see happen? Do you think they should come forward and clarify, or should they be allowed to heal privately without having to relive the past? At the heart of this story is not just scandal but humanity. Love, betrayal, silence, pain, and resilience. This is what makes it so gripping. It forces us to reflect not only on their lives but on our own. How much do we really know about the people we admire? How many stories go untold because silence feels safer than truth? Lovely viewers, as we await the next chapter, I invite you to share your thoughts and emotions. Do you believe the CCTV footage changes everything about how we see Song Joong and Song Hye Kyo? Or do you think we should reserve judgment until more evidence and statements come forward? Whatever your view, one thing is clear. This revelation has reopened old wounds, reignited old debates, and reminded us that the reality behind closed doors is always far more complicated than the fairy tales we imagine. One of the first things fans began asking after the footage surfaced was why it had been hidden all this time. If these clips really existed during the height of their marriage and divorce, why didn't they come out sooner? Was someone protecting Song Joong-ki's image? Was Song Hye Kyo silenced by fear, contracts, or even pressure from those around her? Or was this a matter of timing, waiting for the right moment when the world would pay the most attention? Lovely viewers, here's where you come in. Do you believe the footage was suppressed to protect reputations, or do you think it was just recently discovered? The timing feels almost too explosive to be coincidental. Just as the entertainment industry was settling into new dramas, new romances, and new success stories, this scandal erupts and drags everyone back into the painful history of Song couple. For fans who had finally begun to heal from their divorce, this leak has reopened deep scars. Some are saying, if only we had known this earlier, maybe we wouldn't have judged Hye Kyo so harshly during the divorce. Others feel betrayed, as though they had been cheering for a love story that was built on pain behind the scenes. And then comes the cultural angle. Lovely viewers, you know how South Korean society places enormous importance on image, honor, and respectability. A revelation like this doesn't just affect two people. It ripples out to families, friends, agencies, and entire industries. If Joong-ki's alleged maltreatment of Hye Kyo becomes accepted as fact, it could forever alter how he is remembered, not just as an actor but as a man. On the flip side, it could reposition Hye Kyo as a survivor, someone who endured pain quietly while the world unknowingly criticized her. Do you think, viewers, that society will be more forgiving to her now that this footage has surfaced? The silence from both camps remains one of the most deafening aspects of this saga. Neither Joong nor Hye Kyo has officially commented since the footage leaked, and that silence is fueling endless speculation. Some fans argue that Hye Kyo owes nothing to anyone, that her silence is her strength, her way of refusing to relive trauma publicly. Others insist that speaking out would not only clear her name but also empower other women who might be facing similar struggles. Which side of that debate are you on, lovely viewers? Should she protect her peace or share her truth for the sake of others? Meanwhile, Joong-ki's silence has a very different weight. For his fans, it's a chance to hope that the footage is either fabricated or misinterpreted, and that he'll eventually speak up to defend himself. For critics, his quietness feels like an admission, a lack of courage to face the storm head-on. And this raises another powerful question. In situations of scandal, do we expect celebrities to speak immediately, or do we allow them the space to process privately before responding? Social media remains on fire. People are analyzing every second of the leaked footage, slowing it down, zooming in, interpreting body language, and debating context. One user wrote, "The look on her face says everything," while another countered, We don't know what was happening before or after that clip. It's unfair to judge on fragments. Lovely viewers, how often do you think we make conclusions based on incomplete evidence, especially when emotions are running high? Beyond the debate, though, lies a deeper human tragedy. If the footage is real, then we are not just talking about a scandal. We're talking about a woman who endured pain in silence. Imagine how lonely that must have been for Hye Kyo, putting on a smile for the cameras while feeling hurt at home. Imagine the courage it must have taken to walk away when she finally did. And imagine, too, the internal conflict Joong must be facing now if he knows the truth is catching up with him. Lovely viewers, this isn't just about fame. It's about human fragility, mistakes, endurance, and the consequences of silence. The leak also sparks wider conversations about accountability. Should agencies and production companies be responsible for protecting stars in marriages when they see things going wrong? Or is that too private a matter for the industry to intervene in? Fans are already debating whether people around the couple turned a blind eye to signs of struggle. Do you think, dear viewers, that those who knew something should have stepped in sooner? As this scandal continues to dominate headlines, one thing is clear. It is rewriting the way fans look at both Song Joong and Song Hye Kyo. For years, their divorce was explained simply as two people growing apart. Now, with this footage, people are questioning whether the true story was much darker. And if that's the case, then Hye Kyo's silence becomes even more admirable, choosing to walk away with grace rather than dragging her ex-husband through public shame. That alone is sparking a wave of empathy, with fans saying, "She endured so much, yet she never lashed out." That's strength. Lovely viewers, as we move forward in this ongoing saga, the biggest question is, what next? Will Hye Kyo continue her silence, letting her actions and dignity speak louder than words? Will Joong finally break his silence and defend himself, or even apologize? And will the industry, which thrives on image and public trust, learn to handle situations like this with more transparency in the future? This story is not just about leaked footage. It's about the human heart, the dangers of hidden pain, and the way truth eventually finds its way to the surface. It's about us too, the fans who watch, react, and sometimes forget that behind the glamour, our idols are fragile human beings with complicated lives. Lovely viewers, as this develops, I want to hear your voices. Do you believe this footage changes everything about how we see their marriage? Or do you think there is still more to the story we don't know? Should we focus on condemning or on understanding? Should we push for answers, or allow silence to speak for itself? Imagine for a moment the private conversations taking place right now. Song Hye Kyo, perhaps surrounded by her closest friends and loyal team, may be sitting quietly and reflecting, weighing whether she should finally break her silence or continue to rise above it all. You can almost picture her scrolling through fan comments, seeing the love, the support, and the heartbreak from those who wish she had never endured such pain. Lovely viewers, do you think those words of encouragement could eventually give her the courage to step forward with her truth? Meanwhile, Song Joong must be in a very different position. With his reputation on the line and millions of eyes watching, the pressure to respond must be overwhelming. Yet every day he remains silent, the whispers only grow louder. Some insiders speculate that his management team is carefully crafting a statement, trying to decide whether denial, explanation, or apology would do the least damage. But here's where it gets tricky. Every option carries risk. A denial might only fuel anger if more footage surfaces, while an apology could be seen as an admission of guilt. Lovely viewers, what do you think would be the smartest move for him right now? The fans themselves are split into passionate camps. Some are firmly standing with Hye Kyo, calling her a survivor of hidden struggles and demanding accountability. Others still hold on to their love for Joong, insisting that the footage could be misunderstood or even manipulated. This division is creating heated debates across social media, with hashtags clashing, live streams dissecting every frame, and fan groups nearly breaking apart. Have you noticed, lovely viewers, how scandals like this not only affect celebrities but also test the loyalty and emotions of the very people who support them? Another angle worth exploring is the impact on their careers. For Song Hye Kyo, this revelation, painful as it may be, could actually strengthen her standing as an actress admired not only for her talent but for her resilience. Brands, producers, and fans might rally around her, seeing her as an icon of strength. For Song Joong, however, the road is less certain. Even if he manages to explain or deny, some of the damage may already be done. Once people see you through the lens of scandal, it becomes hard to return to a spotless image. Lovely viewers, would you personally find it easy to watch one of his dramas again without remembering this footage? And then there's the wider cultural impact. South Korea's entertainment industry thrives on perfection. The perfect romance, the perfect family, the perfect career. This scandal reminds us that perfection is an illusion, and sometimes the biggest stars carry the heaviest shadows. If this story continues to unfold, it could spark more open conversations about marriage, respect, and the pressure celebrities face in maintaining their image. Could it be, dear viewers, that this painful revelation might ultimately lead to more honesty and less pressure in the industry? The human side of it cannot be ignored either. Think about Hye Kyo as a woman who may have chosen silence not out of weakness but out of dignity. By never publicly accusing her ex-husband, she protected not only herself but also his career, showing grace even when the world didn't know the truth. That kind of quiet strength is what many fans are calling the ultimate act of class. Do you agree, lovely viewers, that sometimes silence speaks louder than accusations? On the flip side, Joong's image of being the charming, gentlemanly star now sits under a cloud. If the footage is proven true, his silence may come across not as dignity but as avoidance. And if it's not true, then the longer he waits to defend himself, the harder it will be to convince people. Lovely viewers, how would you react if tomorrow he suddenly came forward with evidence proving the footage was fake? Would it change your perspective instantly, or would doubts still linger? As we follow this unfolding drama, one thing becomes clear. This story is no longer just about two people. It's about truth, trust, and the way fans connect with their idols. The leaked CCTV has blurred the line between public image and private pain, and the fallout will continue shaping the legacy of both stars for years to come.